Hey guys. So, no new camera, but I did upgrade the audio, so I hope that's noticeable. I hope this is better. I appreciate you watching. I've been hesitant to post videos like this where I have notes in front of me in the past, and I've made a few kind of similar to this, but really can't recommend them. I don't think they're that great. But I just wanted to kind of catch you guys up. I've done that a little bit in the past couple of videos, but I wanted to give a more in-depth explanation for my lapse in videos and just let you guys know kind of what's been going on in my life. So I started posting probably 2012, 2013-ish, at least regularly. And at the time, I had already competed twice in bodybuilding and was getting interested in powerlifting too. So that was my original intention for the channel, was just posting video logs mostly, training logs. And in 2014, I decided to compete as a pro in bodybuilding, natural bodybuilding. If you're watching this, you're probably aware of that already. But yeah, so that's what I did. And you guys saw the contest prep. You saw me get really lean, saw me get really miserable. And towards the end, I really had no motivation towards bodybuilding at all. There was no bright side for me. And I originally had intended that year to compete multiple times as a pro, because dieting for that long, you kind of want to make the most of the end result. But I was so miserable that I decided to call it after that first one. The show went fine, but that's really just not for me. It took me 5 years of competing in it to realize that, but that's just not something I enjoy. And then coming out of that contest prep, I was still thinking I was going to pursue powerlifting. You guys saw my first powerlifting meet that actually happened at the beginning of that contest prep on this channel too. So after competing in bodybuilding in 2014, I started gaining weight after the show as I needed to, and was still doing very specific, very grueling powerlifting training. And I had a back injury. Most likely a herniated disc. I never had surgery or anything like that. I just laid off of back squats and pretty much anything that was loading my spine for a while. So that's not good, obviously. But what it did do was allow me to focus back on music. And I think the setting of this video kind of gives away that that's a pretty big part of my life. And I think it's for the better, for sure, especially financially, because bodybuilding for me was not going to be a source of revenue. Neither was powerlifting. I don't think I was a bad powerlifter, but I definitely don't think that I was going to be elite or a record setter or anything like that. Anyway, I focused on music at that point, along with personal training. I mean, that's my job. I can't just completely lose focus there. But since then, I've just played more and more, and these are all small-time shows, but I am playing pretty much as much as I want, which is great, and I'm very grateful for that. And since I do receive some income from that, my wife has been nothing but encouraging, so that's good. But I think the biggest thing with the lifestyle change, I mean, it hasn't been that incredibly different. I'm still training 4 to 6 times a week, and I take that pretty seriously. But with bodybuilding for me, and honestly, I think it'd be hard to find somebody who competes in bodybuilding who isn't similar in this way. You just become very, 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 very food focused. And it makes it tough to do other things. It makes it tough to go out to eat with friends. Makes it tough to have a beer here and there without thinking about it incessantly. And for me, it made me even more of a homebody than I naturally am as it is. And also, if I'm trying to gain gigs as a small-time musician, I need to kind of be out and talking to people, even if I'm not the most social person. So I really do feel much more balanced at this point. And I know that this is a fitness channel, and if you're watching this, maybe you've had those same food-focused issues. I would call them that, because I do think it takes over and it takes a toll. Yeah, if if you do feel that way, then I don't know what I can recommend other than seeing your friends. Just don't make excuses to see them. Just whether you're in your own head the whole time or not, there's nothing I can say to you to fix that. But I know for me, it wasn't healthy from a mental and emotional point of view. So that's my short, non-judgmental opinion on that. Okay, so moving on to some of the notes I have. If you're interested, I do have a podcast with my friend Kevin, and we intentionally talk about things we don't know anything about. So we definitely sound like idiots a lot of the time. I'll link that in the description. It'll stay in the description. But yeah, if you're interested in just hearing two guys ramble about nerdy stuff, games, books we're reading, I just started a really good fantasy book that will be in the podcast this week. If you're interested in that, that's another way that I balance my life, is just playing games, reading fantasy books. I had really gotten completely out of video games, and I really think that the food focus thing was part of that. I was constantly thinking about my next meal. I was constantly prepping something. And I definitely think there are people who can balance that, but I was out of my mind, guys. I just was. It was too much. It became essentially an eating disorder. Whether my weight was really low or I wasn't bulimic or anorexic. Body dysmorphia wasn't necessarily part of the problem. It was just too much time spent thinking about it, in my opinion. Anyway, I keep going back to that, but I've mentioned in some previous videos that I've been dabbling in game design, and I hope to share some of those on the channel, just maybe clips from the game, but animation is not my thing. I'm still learning very basic things in that realm. It's been a lot of fun, and it's been a good outlet since I do have a bit more free time these days, because I'm not doing personal training full-time at the moment. It's very part-time, and music is actually taking up more of my time than that is. So that's great too. Okay, guys. Well, there's not a whole lot else I want to say. I didn't want this video to go over 10 minutes. I think it's going to top out between 8 and 9. So that works. And I'm sorry if I bored you, but I felt like I needed to do this. And the new camera is still happening. I'm still looking around. I've had a couple of recommendations, which I appreciate, but the first one I saw was way out of my price range. It's not something I want to spend a ton of money on at the moment, but I do plan to improve the quality of the video for sure. And I hope this sounds better. I appreciate you guys watching. And if you have questions about any other aspect of my life, there were some other very personal things that happened a couple of years back. And if you know me well, you know exactly what those are. I got married, so that's part of it, but had something really rough happen right after that. So if you're interested in that, then you can comment or message me on any of my social media, and I'll be happy to respond, but I don't want to bog this video down with that. That's a little too heavy. Okay, guys, I will talk to you next week. Thank you for watching.